Alrighty guys, this is going to be my tabletop kind of overview of the Tru-ball Copperhead TC. Just kind of my thoughts on it, just an overview of what it is, what it does, and why I chose it this year for my selection. So starting off, we move from the back, go to the front. This is a buckle style release, so you do have your buckle, kind of like a belt over here. And it is padded on the inside, kind of like a little bit of felt cotton setup, not very much. You got your Tru-ball logo over here. This is going to be embroidered on a little nylon patch. Moving forward, you have your tornado connection. The tornado connection is a iron bar sandwiched in between two leather pieces right here. You see the cross thread, and then you have your bar, and it just pivots around that bar. So moving on to the actual release section, you have this barrel, and the barrel is adjustable. You have two screws on either side, and there's, holes on the inside of this, on this bar. So you unscrew these and you can actually slide it, lengthen it out all the way, and tighten it back in here. Now you can actually adjust this thing. I want to say it's 1/4 inch increments, maybe a little bit smaller than that. To your personal liking, I like running a shorter release, so I run it as short as possible. Now this is that 360 head I was telling you about earlier. You cannot lock this in, but it just spins around like this, and it's designed to where you can't torque the release in terms of left and right, up and down. So if your wrist was rotating like this, it has zero input from your actual arm to the release head. So your screws right here, this right here is to take the head off the actual caliper itself, the barrel. This is your trigger adjustment. I have it backed out a little bit, not all the way, and it adjusts the trigger pull. Now this is a spring-loaded release, so it is technically heavier than something like a hook release or something along those lines. I would like this one because it's a lot simpler to hook onto your D-loop versus the one that locks back, and then you have to go over your pinch it and move your trigger back forward. This is a much simpler design, and then it's still crisp enough to where you can really get precise shots all the way up to 80 yards or so. That's about it for the Tru-ball Copperhead. It's a very, very fine release. Got it at a really good deal from my local archery shop, and never been let down by it so far. It's been an outstanding little release, and it's a very welcome addition to the archery setup. Moving on, we're going to go to the arrow. Now the arrow I'm running is going to be the Easton Deep 6 XDs. Now the thing with this one, I'm not running the Deep 6 thread pattern or the Deep 6 heads or broadheads. I'm actually running a Carbon Express pile driver and outserts. This outsert allows me to run standard threaded broadheads such as Grim Reapers, Muzzies, NAPs, whatever is your style. So if you notice, I threaded this arrow in all the way, and it still doesn't butt up 100%. It butts up well enough to where the broadhead will be functional, but not enough to where it's going to be optimal. Now if you're running a standard diameter arrow, then you'll notice it's going to be a lot more flush fit to the design of the actual Grim Reaper. If I put this little brass sleeve onto the arrow and then thread everything back on there, it meets up nice and flush on the actual back side of the arrow. Now the Grim Reapers, we'll cover them real quick. Nothing too special about those. These are the tried and true mechanical broadheads. The whitetail special, so you get about 2 inches of cutting diameter, and it is the razor tip edition. So, awesome broadheads, never been let down by them. But moving on to the last part, we're going to talk about the Apex Gear 4-pin hybrid sight. This bad boy right there. So it's a little complicated. It's a little bit more complicated than your standard 4-pin sight or your standard 1-pin sight, really. What you're going to notice right here is it's going to be running your 4-pin setup. I have the top one and my bottom one set up as greens, that way I can differentiate between the two. The other one's going to be a red and then kind of a yellow color. Now my bottom pin's a floater. I run this one a little different than a lot of folks do. A lot of folks like to run their top pin as their floating pin on adjustable or sights like this. I prefer the bottom pin. It allows you to really stretch out, and it doesn't really occlude your sight picture at distance. So the idea behind this sight is you get your 4 pins for a quick target acquisition is inside of 40 yards. It's your basic 4-pin sight like most folks have run on their bows for well over 30 years now. But you tie in some features that you get in some of your modern 1-pins. Now if you look over here, you have this big old wheel. Now this wheel is going to be your roller system. This allows you to adjust the actual sight housing itself to dial out to further yards. If I flip back over this side, you'll notice I have sight tape. My sight tape is 0 at 40. That's where I have my bottom 0 at, your floater. So if I want to unlock it right here, I can actually twist this roller back here and move my sight. And as you notice, it dials all the way out. Now, you do have blocks on this sight. And that's one of the things I like it. If you're in low light, you need to make sure that your sight's on 0. This allows you to do that quite easily. Notice you got this little red knob right here with a needle. That's where you're sighted in at. It allows you to dial out. Mine maxes out at 95 before I start getting into clearance issues between the sight and the arrow. But if you bottom it back out, I have a block right here and a set screw right there. So if you're adjusting your sight and you want to make sure that everything's set back to your 0, you set your set screw where it's at and then you move your pin to the 0. So since I have mine set at 40, I've adjusted my needle to be 0 at 40, and no matter how hard I try, it hits this little set screw and doesn't allow me to go past 40. So if I'm in pitch black dark, I can take and just roll this until it hits bottom, lock it back down, and I know that I'm going to be 0 back out. Alright guys, well that's everything I'm going to cover today's episode. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you want to. Stay tuned for what we're going to bring forward towards the channel a little bit further, and I'll let you know what we have planned.